Welcome to our talk.
Welcome.
Tori, good to see you.
What a day.
What a night. What a Super Bowl. I don't ever think I was as excited for the big game as I was this year, right?
Honestly, even in terms of how football games usually go, it was tremendously exciting.
Oh, I didn't watch the game. I checked out right after the first commercial break because, as we all know, this happened.
Folks together.
Something has changed within me.
Is to give them a real good enemy.
You're green. I am. Something is not the same. Something just takes over me. And when it does, bad things happen.
Once you learn to harness your emotions, the sky's the limit.
Bring her to me.
Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Yeah, not okay.
I will never recover.
No, I feel like, I mean, when I first saw it, I think I defied gravity. I was levitating off my couch. It was gobsmacked. It was, euphoria. I couldn't believe it. I first thought, like, when it starts and you see like her green hand touching the yellow brick, I thought like it was a spoof at first. I didn't even think this was the actual trailer. It was so soon. So exciting.
So it opens on the hat, and the hat has like fire coming out from underneath. They actually combined parts 1 and 2. I got some comments. People were confused, like, oh, I thought this would be in the second half. This was a trailer for the whole saga for parts 1 and 2. I'm sure as we get closer to November, we'll get a more focused part 1 trailer, but this encompassed the whole story. This was telling the whole narrative.
Yeah, this is the proper teaser for Wicked, the franchise. And so it's the overall, which is great because you're right. We're seeing things. It's not part 1. It's not part 2. It's starting. And I also think it's particular, how there were people that were going to see Color Purple, the musical, didn't know it was a musical and walked out. It's like, they don't have to push the fact that it's 2 parts. We'll understand why it's 2 parts after when the first movie ends, and we are going to be clawing for more immediately. And just that there's so many surprises. It allows for so much more in terms of character development, of course, new songs in part 2, but also the full realization of Oz in set design and costume the details are so intricate. There's so much to dissect here, and I think we're going to dissect the shiz out of it right now.
I like what you did there.
Right? But like all these surprises, like, I mean, if you want to see the show, we're going to see the show, and I will continue to see the show live every chance I get. But now we're all about to have our minds collectively blown by things we haven't seen that we're not expecting. And they reveal things here. So let's talk through it. Let's go through some of these things and kind of see what you think, Tori. What I think. We know it's coming November 27th. Yes, we start with that hat, the smoke.
Now I would wager So I don't know how they're going to choose to open. And I think we should have a blanket spoiler alert here. If you're not familiar with the story of Wicked and you don't want anything spoiled, I think now would be the time to exit stage left. Love your mug, by the way.
Thank you. I do too.
I think so. Blanket warning. So I don't know how they're going to choose to open, but this to me looks like it could be the melting scene. But look at all the smoke and the sparks, and all we see is the hat. That's how the Broadway musical begins. It begins at the end and then circles back around. So is this our opening? Is this the first thing we're going to see? So that's what I drew from this. What about you, Ryan?
I agree. I think it's probably very similar to what you're saying right now. It's interesting because the location in the show is Calamito, where she melts. We don't know where No One Mourns the Wicked takes place in the show. It's just Oz, you know. It looks like from what we saw from leaked shots, that drone shots, that No One Mourns the Wicked takes place in what is Munchkinland territory. And so that would mean some kind of tie-in from, but this looks like Emerald City, not Calamito, because we're looking at the round, you know, tower windows that seem to be evocative of when the Emerald City guards are chasing her out for defying gravity, unless Calamito has similarly shaped round windows, which could be the case.
Could be the case. It's hard to say, and obviously we don't have context for this yet.
And then we go to this one, and I mean, the color here doesn't do it justice when you're watching it on your TV. It's so bright, and right away I noticed that ring.
Yeah, beautiful ring. And she had it on when she reaches back and touches her hair. I believe she's wearing that ring when she enters Chiz. I actually think this comes later in the story, because we saw some leaks from the Daily Mail of Elphaba flying with people building the yellow brick road underneath her, soldiers actually assembling the yellow brick road. So is this a moment from Act 2 where she's like looking around at what they're doing to the landscape of Oz and taking a moment to take inventory?
It could be that. It could also be after the tornado comes and what happens with Vanessa Rose. It could be kind of that moment before she confronts Glinda. So yeah, we don't have context, but interesting about the ring here is I think it's an O with a Z that comes out of it and wraps around the finger, and it changes. Here we see it on an index finger. Next, we're going to see it on our pinky, and it changes hands. And one time it's the pinky on the left hand, one time it's the right hand. I don't know if I'm reading that correctly, but we'll have to watch. Here we see this magnificent train,
which was built practically. They built this monster, and I don't know what they did to enhance it, whether they changed the scale, but they built this in real life on a real track. It moves. And Lionel trains. Are we going to get this as a set? Because I'd buy it in a red hot clock tick.
Yes, exactly. And we're getting some commentators here. Thank you so much for joining us live. Yes, Cynthia rocking her iconic nails. That is so true. She looks, I mean, the shade of green, the design here, everything is so exquisite. I do not have a problem with anything. There's not one thing that I feel like I could have done better myself, or I would have made a different choice. It's you know, the right talent at the right time making this movie, and everything is even better than like my wildest and greatest fantasies could envision for Oz. He's definitely just giving us, John Chu, director, is giving us, the fans, I think, exactly what we want and more.
The combination of practical effects and the CGI that they use to enhance what was already there is really, really making a huge difference here. Unlike something like Oz the Great and Powerful, where everything was blue screened in after the fact. This, you know, Shiz is there because we saw it. They built it. They built that river. They built that building. So yes, they built out the world around it because it was a construction site, but that building is tangible, is real. Yes. They will climb those actual steps. It makes a huge difference.
Which is exactly what MGM did. It was all on a soundstage. So everything was built, and then the rest was filled in with the matte paintings, and they didn't have CGI to fill in and do environment and atmospheric work as we're seeing now. So we're really making this movie the exact same way, with the added benefit of the advancement in technology, of course. But I think that it's going to, it obviously created and helps the actors, you know, Tori, you're a performer, do more with what they can do. Here we see Glinda's arrival.
It's our first glimpse of Glinda.
Glinda, right. And I think we see the back of her father's head, maybe sitting there with a top hat.
I find it very strange that we have yet to see the faces of the performers playing her parents, and it has struck me the idea that they might have cast Kristen Chenoweth to play her mother.
Mhm.
Because why haven't we seen their faces yet? Even in the leaked photos, no, all their shots of their back. So I'm
Right.
wondering if they're keeping that under wraps for now. Who's playing her parents?
Yeah, they could be. I mean, well, her father is announced on IMDb. You never know what's accurate there and what isn't. But still, yeah, that would be amazing to see Kristen as, you know, Mama Upland, right? And then
Mumsy and Popsicle.
exactly. There we go. There we go. Have the ring on a pinky finger.
Yep.
Looks amazing. I love her hair. We have a comment here that says that they love her micro braids as well. I think it's a gorgeous design. All the intricacy again here in the work that we're seeing in film that we wouldn't necessarily see on stage. Act 2, Elphaba's dress from stage, it's so we can tell how heavy, and a lot of Glinda's, there's a lot of opulence there. But the details here in close-ups, just the little detailing on the wrist and the flares and all of the design is so exquisite. Someone also said they hope Paul Tazewell wins right now for costume design. I think he stands a great shot.
I think that cinematography and special effects and costume, makeup, and all of that are going to have a real fair shake at a nomination, if not a win, for
Yeah.
this film next year. And then, of course, everybody gets their first glimpse of Elfie from the front. We have here Ariana Grande as Glinda and Bronwyn James as Shen Shen and Bowen Yang as Fanny.
Mm-hmm.
Looking shocked.
I know. I love their facial expressions. And also, I mean, here we're getting to see just in the teaser, just this little bit of Ariana's comedic skill and acting ability. And she is just nailing it already. She's so funny. She's so great. Her shock, you're green. I mean, lines that are not in the show already. Some new things right here. And even Elfie's response.
Which I thought was so delicious. It sets them up really well. Elphaba, instead of having, I don't know if she'll go into her rant like, no, I'm not seasick. Yes, I've always been green. No, I didn't eat grass as a child. Or if she'll just leave it at, I am. Like, shock and awe.
Yeah, and all the confidence, and you can tell she's been here, done that. She's used to it, and so it's really fun. I wonder. Can we talk about for a moment this REM beauty?
You can tell she's highlighting, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's so great. She's so just exquisite work here. The glasses too are really beautiful here.
And you can actually buy these. They're out there. They're available. They're $27. Go grab a pair.
Where are they $27?
Okay, I found them online earlier and I have them pulled up because I will be buying a pair. Zeelool.com. That's ZeeLool.com. They are known as I lost it. But they're available there and they're not expensive.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, because we're all going to want to have as much.
We're all good. Cosplayers are going to be very happy to know that these are available so readily.
Definitely. Yeah, her big kind of like Elsa braid to the side. Here we see her flying over, and the Emerald City, the shape of the Emerald City. It's a more modest Emerald City than we saw in Oz the Great and Powerful, not as sprawling in a horizontal direction, but certainly has the height. And
okay, but she's not flying here. Somebody's on a horse, methinks.
Oh, is that a horse?
It's a horse. And I was wondering who was riding a horse. And to me, the only character that it makes sense to have a horse would be Fiyero.
Right, but he wouldn't have a cape, or maybe he would. Huh, that is, or it could be someone new altogether. Oh, you're right, that is a horse. I thought it was someone flying, but then it all happened so fast, and I watched it over and over. I actually Googled to see how you could have YouTube videos repeat, like auto repeat. I couldn't find a way. I just have to, every minute I was like replaying it. Here, such an iconic shot. I mean, and this again justifies the choice in John Chu and his choices. Of course, seeing a little bit of Bach and Nesteros is all we get, just basically all we get of them so far in this teaser. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do see Bach later on.
Yes. But they look great design there. It's cool to see the chair. And again, the costume work. And here, see, now we've got the ring on a pinky.
And I love how they have her eyes in shadow here. This is such a poignant moment. She's clearly embarrassed. She's sad, but she's not going to let anyone see that. The brim of her hat is down. No one's
Mhm.
going to see the vulnerability here. And I think that's very much on purpose.
Yeah, and it's iconic too of the Wicked Broadway poster. Has that same kind of like it's that sort of silhouette of the face there. And the Oz's ballroom looks positively emerald. Here, there we see a little bit of Bach again in the background. I'm wondering if this is her beginning to do her dance.
Yes, I would say that this is the beginning of her taking ownership of this moment. You know what? I'm just gonna and in the show, this sometimes is a moment of levity, sometimes makes the audience laugh, sometimes just gets an awkward chuckle because you feel secondhand cringe for her. So I'm wondering how they'll play this scene. Will this be a tragic moment or a comedic moment?
Mhm.
I'm interested to see what they choose to bring here.
Also, just want to note, moving back here, if we look at the Ozdust Ballroom, a big departure from the stage show where everybody was wearing black and white, but for the leading characters, and of course Alfie in black. But like, we're seeing an array of color that look very Ozian.
And people should be prepared that they are going to continue. There are going to be lots of things that depart from the stage show. And that's actually, in my opinion, a good thing. If I wanted to see a pro shot of Wicked, that's what I'd be lobbying for. And if I could go see the show again. This is really supposed to be its own thing. So leave room for adaptation, leave room for change.
Yes, we celebrate all of the newness and the change, and this is, I think, one of the most profound shots in the entire teaser, and that's because in a lot of recent interviews with Cynthia Erivo, where she's been promoting her new film Drift and other things, when a journalist has snuck in a question about Wicked, she talks about the bond between Glinda and Elphaba and how they are two sides of the same coin. And I think that there might be something hidden within that meaning, in that we're seeing her levitate or defy gravity here before using a broom. It appears to be some kind of coin, or at least spherical object.
And I love that we're also getting glimpses of the sorcery seminar that we hear Madame Morrible talking about in the show, but we never actually see her do. This is where she really hones her skills. She doesn't go from zero to fabulous witch. She learns at the hands of Madame Morrible, who is herself a powerful sorceress. So I'm so glad they're using the time to give that life and allow us to have a glimpse into how Elphaba becomes so powerful.
Yeah, and thanks. I'm still a little embarrassed that I thought someone was flying just because I saw a cape move and an overhead shot.
Not an untrue assumption.
But thank you for that. Thank you for the correction. I could probably watch it a million times and still think it's Elfie on a broom. But Ozma here, 123, says it must be weird to ride a horse in a world where animals talk. True, however, not all animals talk. At least at the start of Wicked, animals with a capital letter A do, and others don't. But good point. That's a very good note there. Let's move forward. Okay, I need a lot more Jonathan Bailey, like right away.
They're keeping him pretty under wraps so far. We really haven't had, and this is the same footage we saw in the CinemaCon footage. This is likely the lion scene. He's got a small cut above his eyebrow. She looks to be wiping away maybe a little bit of stray blood. And this is that moment where he says, I happen to be deeply shallow.
So good. Oh my God. Fiyero is important and necessary, but it is Glinda's and Elphaba's story. And their connection is what the show is about. And Fiyero is a subplot that provokes a lot of their actions and a lot of the forward movement throughout the show. But I think that these movie adaptations, we're going to get a Fiyero that's going to be more on his own, stand on his own. We're going to want more of, and that's all due to the casting of Jonathan Bailey. He is so charismatic. He's such a great singer. He's got comedy. He's got the pathos when he needs it. So I cannot wait to just see more of Fiyero. Matthew's making a comment that we don't have anything yet of Dr. Dillamond either. Tori, you want to explain that reason?
So Dr. Dillamond was shot on set with a puppet and a female puppeteer doing the puppet and reading the lines for the cast. And so what I think is going to happen is similar to how they achieved the China Girl in Oz the Great and Powerful. I suspect we'll get a hybrid puppet / CGI character. We're not going to have a person in a costume with dots on their face who they, CGI a face on later.
Right.
And they also are hinting that this will be a gender bent character. I think it's entirely possible we'll get a female Dr. Dillamon. Now, Idina Menzel hinted on her Twitter when we were speculating about this that it might be her. I don't know if that was just to throw us off the scent or what, but I have a feeling the fact that they're keeping it under wraps this long means it's going to be a big announcement.
It should be, and it should be, and it would be great if it's her. It would be hilarious if it's Kristen, because Kristen has
that would be so ironic.
Publicly said she doesn't love the character, and so yeah, that would be really, really fun. But here, I like this shot too, because this looks like it could be defying gravity. Maybe the end of part 1. And
yes.
we see some of the reaction, get her.
We actually know that's what it is, because Ariana Grande is wearing the same dress that she wears in a later clip when she says, "Don't be afraid," which is the top. It's the top of Defying Gravity. So this is likely the moment when Elphaba bursts out on her broom and escapes. We have the guards here pointing loaded weapons at her. So Oz is packing heat. And the guards are ready to fire at will, but nobody calls the order. I think at this point, Madame Morrible likely still has hope she can rein Elphaba back in at some point. And Ariana Grande,
she's still sweating here. She's sweating here. We know more, the horrible Morrible. And don't forget, with the pistols, true to movie Oz canon, we saw Ray Bolger's Scarecrow carrying one in the Haunted Forest. So this
is not new to the land of Oz.
No, throwback there. We also saw a pistol hanging on the costuming of Jonathan Bailey's Fiyero at one leaked point. The photo there. But I love the green and gold. I'm just so here for all of it. This is an Emerald City I want to go to. And stay at, and I think that's kind of, I think John and some of his marketing was alluding to that, this is a really tangible place that we're all going to wish we could enter, which makes me think Universal, hey, you've got the Wizarding World, you've got the theme parks. Could we see some magnificent
Where's our Wicked section of Universal? I'd be there tomorrow.
We need Wicked World like yesterday. We need to go in a bubble. We need to get on a broom. I want like all the movie rides, just like they've done for Harry Potter. I mean, sky's the limit, as they say, and let's have it. Okay, Tori. This was the first moment, even though we saw some dialogue earlier in the trailer where it was like, wait, that's new. This is like, okay, we have questions. We want an explanation.
This broke my brain. This is either one of two things. Either this is a fantasy sequence that is happening in Glinda's imagination.
A dream, yeah.
Or they changed the Act 2 scenario with the ball. And I don't know how much spoiler territory. I'm going to put out a blanket spoiler alert here. So close your ears if you don't want to know. Everybody good? 3, 2, 1. Okay. So in Act 2, Elphaba bursts into a ball that is celebrating the engagement of Fiyero and Glinda. So did they swap that out for a straight up wedding? Does Elphaba burst into their actual wedding and break up the couple here? I mean, that would add such a layer of pathos and pain that doesn't exist, and resentment that doesn't exist in the play. I mean,
not to mention the drama of just seeing, Glinda left at the altar while Fiyero runs off with,
humiliation for her. I mean, and can we just take a moment, girl? You are gorgeous in this dress.
Yes. I mean, we don't get a lot of Glinda in white. We saw it on Michelle Williams in Oz the Great and Powerful. But this is so gorgeous and exquisite and beautiful. I mean, she's a beautiful human being, so she'll look good in anything. But to see her this, and in the surprise of it, I think it could mean anything. So it's exciting. It's kind of like, we don't want to know more. We want to know, but it's exciting to wait and see exactly what it's going to turn out to be, because wow, the layers just in storytelling, as you were hinting at, Tori, could be magnificent.
This could very well be a dream sequence as well. I mean, it's too early to say. I love this shot, the cinematography here, and we know they actually did plant millions of flowers.
9 million, right? I mean, do we see them here? We got some winged monkeys here, but look at this, 9 million tulips.
9 million tulips
in a rainbow array, and we're seeing people run through them here toward, it looks like, Shiz or the Emerald City or Munchkinland,
It's hard to tell. I think this might be Munchkinland by the design of the houses. It's really hard to say. They do show the Munchkinland Yellow Brick Road at one point in one of those leaks from the Daily Mail going off into the tulip field. They built it to a certain point, and then this was shot separately and they're composited together. Now, who is that running through the Munchkin fields? Is this everyone gathering for No One Mourns the Wicked? Is everybody running into town to hear the good news?
Okay, come on, sing it in the right key. I'm just kidding. Yeah, exactly. We don't know. And here we see another. This I like because it's a little bit closer of the, what we see as the palace and the full Emerald City look, what it looks like, and it's so cool. I can't wait to get because I'm a fan of Emerald City artwork, and so I really want to dig my teeth into what it actually looks like, the wide shot.
For sure. And they did build the sections of the Emerald City in real life as well. These are practical composites with CGI. Oh, girl, spin like your life depends on it.
This has got to be popular.
It must be, yes.
Yeah, and I think and it's going to be so much fun. It's a showstopper on stage. I'm sure they're making a moment out of it. It makes me think of the salon scene in The Heights with John Chu, and where he had like the wigs talking and bopping around.
Yes,
he brought fantasy into a magical reality in The Heights. There was also that scene in The Heights, of course, where they're dancing on the side of the building, and right away I was like, he's already defying gravity in a movie.
Getting ready.
Yeah, so again, justifying his brilliant choice and he said, I think on social media, right, Tori, that he feels that this is like his life, the project of his lifetime, and a dream job.
He did say this is likely going to be one of his favorite works, and I think that's obvious why. Universal clearly did their due diligence in terms of budgeting, giving him the room and the strength. He already has a great history of working with female performers and getting really nuanced performances from women. He's a talented director, and I think this might be his magnum opus.
Yes, exactly. Here we see them maybe when they're seeing the wizard for the first time. I love, you can see Elfie's freckles.
This is definitely one short day.
Oh yeah,
they're peering up at the Emerald City. She's wearing again a silhouette that to me looks. This might not be the exact same dress that she's wearing it when Elphaba bursts out of the window in defying gravity, but it looks very similar.
Wait, should I go back and see what?
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's compare.
Yes,
I think the one that she was wearing there. Oh no, she's not wearing sleeves. It's the same dress.
Yeah.
So me thinks this is them going into the Emerald City, going into one short day.
And I love that they're sticking with pink for her. I know we're going to see a little bit of purple and everything, and we wouldn't be mad with any color on Glinda. She can rock it all. But I just love how iconic pink is to the character.
Yes.
And MGM, obviously in the book, it's supposed to be more red, but pink is a shade of red. So I'm all glad for it. Okay, this is everything. First of all, Tori, that Toto's a border terrier or a border terrier mix, which is what the Toto was returned to Oz. But second, I thought we were all kind of hearing the rumors that Universal had paid the fee to make them ruby slippers and, get the licensing for all of that. And we're seeing Dorothy in silver shoes. Now,
just because they're silver here doesn't mean they'll be silver the whole time. Again, spoiler alert for Wicked the Musical, guys. Close your ears, 3, 2, 1. But you know that when Nessa Rose in Act 2 has her moment, these shoes have a bright red light shown on them, and they look like they've transfigured into red shoes briefly. These shoes have red sparkles built in, and they're cutouts. You can see Dorothy's socks through if you get a high def photo of them up close. So they have red sparkles throughout. It is entirely possible these will shift back and forth. And the fact that they are not all red, but somewhat red might help Universal avoid having to license the copyright.
Very good. Very good.
They may have danced around it that way, but can we talk about the design of these shoes very quickly?
I mean, they're exquisite. Here's the thing. The ruby slippers are among, if not the most coveted, celebrated, costly movie memorabilia of all time ever made, full stop. So to approach it, it's like doing like what Stephen Schwartz did, write music for a new Oz project in the wake of The Wiz and The Wizard of Oz and these iconic songs that are so gorgeous. And then he created the third wave of iconic songs in the Ozosphere. And I think that what he did here with what Paul Tazewell did with these shoes, I mean, they're so beyond beautiful. We all want them for our collections, replicas.
I hope they make them. I hope they make replicas available. I know cosplayers are going to go nuts making these shoes. So those of you who create shoes and sell them online, because there is a robust market of people who make Oz replica shoes, get moving.
And moving, I know Tiffany will want some. You'll want some. Tara and MK could want some. Maybe they'll make a boy version for me unless I learn how to do drag. The blue socks, of course, are done right. We see so much MGM merch come out where Dorothy doesn't have blue.
That was something that my viewers pointed out to me en masse, because that's something I complain about a lot. And I was so excited. Paul Tazwell did his homework and got the socks correct.
Yeah, it's so great. And then this is the one thing I need to say about this next slide. This, dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, this justifies why 2 parts. Okay.
Yes.
We want to see more that we cannot see, that there wouldn't be time for in a 2 hour and 45-minute one film. I'd rather have 2 2-hour films, or 4 hours, or 5 hours in total, whatever they want to do, because give us this extra stuff. Give us.
And if you know, you know, because we know that 2 out of the 4 characters here are in the know on everything.
Right.
And so a lot of people were asking me, people who don't know about Wicked, and spoiler alert again here, people who don't know anything about Wicked were asking me, wait, why is Dorothy here? I thought this was a prequel. These 2 stories intersect. It starts before Dorothy lands, but then Act 2 and Part 2, the stories will converge and will happen simultaneously, parallel to one another. So I would actually love to see more of what's happening with the traditional Oz story as we're watching Elphaba's story. There is no reason why these 2 things can't coexist.
Right. I don't know if we'll get that, but I would like to know, are we going to see Dorothy's face? Are we going to hear her voice? Maybe we'll hear her voice, but not see her face. Like, I just wonder, because this is such a great tease from behind. It's so iconic. These 4 friends, hopefully Toto's in there somewhere too, in front of that giant head of the wizard.
And honestly, if this is all we get, that would be enough, because
absolutely.
It would, first of all, it would spoil the ending for people who don't know what's going on with the Scarecrow and Tin Man.
Who doesn't know?
There are still so many people in my comments who don't know. When I said, if you know, you know, I had people go, no, what?
20 years, get to New York now. You've got few months, 6 months to get to New York, 7 months, 8 months. But okay, yeah. So this was the other huge surprise after the wedding gown, and it's just, I mean, this just stopped me. First of all, we're seeing the brown braids, the posture and order similar to what we see in the Wizard of Oz, the blue gingham dress. Then we're seeing a lion, the likes of real lion, not like a Bert Lahr, humanized lion.
This poor lion looks so hungry.
I know, but kind of like, so we're seeing some Denslow here, we're seeing MGM here, we're seeing all of it. The head here design, interestingly, is the one thing I think out of everything I've seen in this teaser that is similar to a design from the stage show. And it's different, completely different, but similar in the sense that it seems mechanical and gold in it as much as,
Yes, and they used tassels instead of the traditional behind the curtain. There's like tassels in front of his face. I don't know if this is to further blur so that people can't see what's going on behind it. But yeah, they did a healthy mix here of MGM and Denslow. And when you look at how the Scarecrow is dressed, it's hint enough without being too revealing.
Yes.
And if you know, you know. And I'm so pleased with the way they did this. If this is all we get of the Fab Four, and obviously I'm very curious to know, will we see Dorothy's abduction? Will we see her being brought to Calamito? Are we going to go that far? We have the time.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how much more of the traditional Oz characters we're going to get.
Yes, same. I think we all are. And anytime they deliver that for us is going to be magic.
Yes.
This looks like it could be defying gravity.
For sure.
Again, the cinematography, the angle, the choice in the lighting here, all of it is so perfect. It just chef's kiss. And here it is. This is the end of the first film.
Somebody posted, and Cynthia Erivo shared it with this clip going, parkour.
Yeah, exactly. But
Ultimate parkour.
I mean, how many times, I don't know if you did, but I remember back in 2003 seeing a preview for Wicked and hoping someday they'd turn it into a movie. And how would they do Defying Gravity? What would that look like in a movie? Take me to Oz, because the show's taking me there every time I see it. And now to actually see it in the cinematic, capability is just so, it's breathless.
And they finally have the ability now, with this being a movie, to use the technology at their disposal to build out, because Wicked, the musical, they keep it very minimalist on purpose. Your imagination fills in the blank space. You don't need a lot of set, a lot of costume, a lot of, business happening on stage. But in a film, it's a more literal medium. You need to build it out for it to make sense. And my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Michelle Yeoh, Oscar winner as a Madame Horrible. What an inspired choice, and so exquisite here. And those monkeys with the blue wings. I mean, there's nothing like it. We saw what were they? Winged baboons in Oz the Great and Powerful, aside from Finley, who was the cute little bellhop.
Yes.
But I feel like we're getting some more traditional winged monkeys here that look very inspired by Denslow's drawings as well. And my goodness.
Yeah, these are definitely more based in Denslow's illustrations by the look of them so far. But again, we really haven't gotten a clear view yet.
Right.
So I'm going to withhold judgment.
Mhm.
Oh, our first look at Jeff Goldblum. I was so excited for this.
I know that suit, again, the green and the gold. I mean, he's not in a black jacket like we've always seen the Wizard in before and other things. He's actually got emerald on here. I love the shirt, like the tuck shirt collar with those little edges and stuff, all the little details. Yeah, that's something. And then you sent me this morning. I hadn't noticed this before, but you sent this to me this morning, Tori.
So we briefly see an explosion happen somewhere within the Emerald City, and then we see flashbangs behind Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard off in the distance. And when we see that happen, we see these propaganda flyers fall down from the ceiling, and they say "run," and they've got a picture of the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba. Presumably this was a propaganda campaign by the Wizard's machine and by the Emerald City regime.
Yeah, and Madame Horrible. I mean, it speaks to the opening line in the teaser where the Wizard says, "How do you bring people together? Give them a really good enemy." And
we saw it. Yeah, I'm sorry. And we saw in those leaked photos from the Daily Mail, we saw a poster in Munchkinland of her looking very intimidating and scary. So they've clearly had a structured campaign against her here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So cool to see those details. More overlooking, looks like almost like a monorail, perhaps, in the Emerald City Palace. We also more of the blue flying monkeys that are so fantastic. The bubble, tap to bubble, honey. Tap to bubble. There's the platform and that bubble. And I mean, I could just drink this photo in.
Now, this is obviously set in the Emerald City, but she's wearing her No One Mourns the Wicked dress. So my thought is this might be from the end of part 2, when she returns to confront the Wizard.
Or it could be at the beginning where maybe she, we see the hat and then maybe she goes by bubble to sing No One Mourns the Wicked.
This will be one of the bookends, methinks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which makes us think more likely then, since we're seeing her in the bubble in this dress at the Emerald City. Earlier, I was questioning, because in the show, in the book, it's Camo Co, where we see the hat. And so it probably is the Emerald City. They changed that location for the film. Great. Okay. Love. It's kind of like the new poster a little bit with the W, the wand, and the broom here, just the friendship. And that has to be One Short Day now, right? If we're thinking that's probably that dress.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You got the bag. Okay. And these, I mean, wow, this was like the breaking of the glass and the straight down where she's like nose diving down before she goes up. It's like this. What a way to end. I mean, that there's no other way to end a teaser than to tease you with this battle cry of Defying Gravity and the graphic. I mean, look at this.
And I loved Cynthia Erivo's particular choice for her battle cry at the end. I heard some musical theater purists saying, "Oh, I wish she had just done the straight But honestly, I don't want a copy paste of what we can see, for the price of admission in New York. I'm so glad Cynthia Erivo made this moment her own. Mm-hmm. It's such an important moment for the character.
It's true. She has to make it her own. She has to do it differently. first of all, you know, Idina's a great singer. There are a lot of great singers who've taken on the role, but Cynthia is a talent that is equal, if not even better. And so, and I say that with love and respect. And so, you know, we're just, you know, we're used to it. You hear something a certain way, so you want it to be a
Yes.
certain way out of familiarity. But as it gets in the ear more, once we're all listening to the soundtrack over and over, I mean, I like it immediately. I'm with you. The first time I heard it, I almost wet myself. I was like, oh my God, listen to what she's doing there, because she can. She's got those pipes, and it's amazing. But just incredible. So I love, you know, talking through that with you. We've got a couple more things to look at really quickly before we wrap up here, which is we want to take a look at this, which was, by the way, take note, this is reposted and shared by John Chu, the director. That is you, Tori. It was also shared by Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, and this is your reaction. I love it.
And the Wicked official account also shared our video. So thank you to all of them, all of the above. It was a very exciting evening. My daughter Rosa was sitting next to me and also screaming. I know it sounds like I'm screaming the whole time, but it is me and my 10-year-old screaming simultaneously. So, I mean, I was live on TikTok when this happened. I wanted to capture my genuine reaction because I knew once I'd had time to process, I wouldn't be able to recreate that feeling and that moment artificially. It's just not possible. And what you're seeing is my guttural reaction, my emotional reaction, the real thing, which I think, and a lot of people echoed that they felt this exact same way. And a lot of people said that they ruined some Super Bowl parties by scream crying at the TV.
Oh yeah. No, you were amazing. I was not filming myself, but just to give you an idea of what I was doing while the teaser was on, I looked like this. So, there you go. This was actually me on Friday talking about the trailer. Hopefully going to be. This was me on my TV segment talking about how I was hoping they were going to show the trailer and how I would react. So I did that in my at home. Toto, I'm sure I scared Toto off the couch. And then we got these great social media instantly. You know, we saw that Cynthia and Ari were at the game in these great Louis Vuitton jerseys that are so, I love how they're still embracing the character and they're just going to run with it, hopefully for 2 years nonstop is what I'm hoping for.
Ariana Grande posted this photo of them in their Louis Vuitton jerseys saying, I hope y'all are ready for this press tour.
Yes.
They are fully prepared to embrace the press tour. I hope we get a very Barbie-esque press tour where they really dive in and really go into Oz lore. Like, get in deep. Let's talk about it. And since then, the reactions from people have been just out of this world. People are so excited and they were so engaged and getting excited with everybody online. They shared so many fans' posts. They were probably up all night doing that. Absolutely incredible kickoff. And I want to take a moment to applaud the marketing team for Wicked because they kept this so under wraps. People had heard rumors and speculation, innuendo, outuendo, but they just turned the notifications on for the Wicked TikTok account that day. You could just tag them that day. The shirts coming out the day after. You can now order them or get them at Hot Topic and Target.
Yeah, I have that. That's coming up. We have the Vanity Fair first shot with Elphaba kicking it on the bucket.
Oh, love that, kicking that bucket.
Yes, this is such a beautiful, this is a frameable photo. I would like a poster size right now in my office. You see, I'll take something down and put it up over here gladly. It's just so beautiful. Again, all the artistry of the characterization and the lighting and the costumes and the makeup, and it's all perfect. And then you were, oh, Toto.
Toto!
My pup Toto, and she loved watching you last night. She's your #1 fan.
Love
she
you, Toto.
She might have to compete with Rosa to be your #1 fan. But what I wanted to show was I did bring in, because I was able to find it. Yeah, you were talking about the t-shirts, and on the left side we see the Target one on a female model. That's the one I'm wearing right now. So it's actually in a unisex size. This is a size large. And I got it in the women's section of the graphic tees. And then they also have that gray kids. I think it's gray, unless it's just a really bad photo.
No, it is gray. My sister found them yesterday and sent me a photo. They are gray.
Cool. And then the Hot Topic has the three options: the female, the women's cut, the unisex cut, and then the unisex cut with the black logo.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's all here. You wait forever. And And then it comes, and I almost feel like there is BWM and AWM before Wicked movie and after Wicked movie, and now we are in AWM mode. Like, we're now seeing it, we're here, we're ready for it, because there was all of that time before, and I feel like I know I'm changed having seen it now and excited. So
For good.
for good, honey.
So I'm having a moment where a year from now, a year from now will have seen this movie already. It will already be
Several times.
old hat. I'll know it backwards and forwards, be waiting for movie number 2. So what I want to do right now is really cherish these next few months leading up to it, because this is such an exciting moment. And I will miss this feeling of not knowing what we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, I hope, will join me in the anticipation.
Yes. I think that you're right about that, but also there's something about when, once you've seen it the first time, you never get that surprise back. You look forward to it and everything. So savor the first time, like seeing it. That's why someone was like, why don't you just record the Super Bowl and find out and watch it? I was like, no, I want to watch it when it airs for the first time live with the rest of the world while we're all seeing it for the first time. I couldn't wait. I had to be there for that moment. And I think collectively, as Oz fans, as Ari fans, as Cynthia fans, as cinema fans, football fans, we all got it. And it's perfect. I do want to also just address one last thing, which is, we're talking about the 2 parts and the way, I think it's smart to market it the way that they are initially, by giving us even that poster is a teaser poster for Thanksgiving. It's not the official part 1 poster, which we'll see. And again, looking forward to all these firsts. But I just have to, as a film critic and a member of the Critics' Choice Association, comment on how musical adaptations tend to not do well, and why I think Wicked is going to not fall into that problem. And this is not, I don't even think this is my biased Oz fan or Oz historian opinion. I think that if we look at the way that adaptations happen and when they've been problematic, if you look at Mean Girls, if you look at The Color Purple, which I love, my favorite movie of the year, or if you look at Dear Evan Hansen, some recent adaptations from the Broadway stage to screen, they cut songs out. And sometimes they're the most show-tuney songs because they know generally movie-going audiences don't like movie musicals. Now, there's no hiding the fact that Wicked is a musical and this is an adaptation and it's going to have the songs in it. But we're not losing any of the great numbers. In fact, we're getting more. And we're getting more and more and more of everything we loved about the show, and then some. There might be something you loved in the show that's not in, as you were talking about earlier, Tori, and adaptation, that's what adaptation is. And these films will live firmly beside the show, always there, both of us together, for us. This is more Oz to enjoy. So I'm really excited, as I know you are, that Universal greenlit this creative vision to do it the right way. And heck, let's hope they do so well at the box office that this team that is thriving wants to get on board for a Wicked Part 3. Because I would take
so down.
I'd take that. Part 4, Part 5, Part 6. I mean, heck, come on. Let's get all the Wicked movies.
This is going to be a very exciting time. I'm really looking forward to all of the nuggets of info we're going to get leading up to the release on November 27th. Let's just stay positive, fans. Let's enjoy this time together. And I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And don't forget that if you'd like, you're always welcome to go to ozclub.org and become a member of the International Wizard of Oz Club, which has been around since 1957 as the original. Follow Tori at the Oz Vlog on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm at Ryan J Reviews. You can see my movie and TV reviews and all my Oz interviews and things. And Tori, this is so fun. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy and just thrilled that we are alive and getting to experience this together with all our friends. And until next time, everybody.
Bye.